It started on a night no one in Egodo village would ever forget. The winds howled, carrying voices that whispered warnings. The river Ojua, calm and clear during the day, raged like an angry beast under the moonlight. Water rushed through the village, sweeping away crops and flooding homes. The villagers huddled together, terrified and confused. "Why is the river angry?" cried a young boy, holding onto his mother. Elder Omoreg, the oldest man in the village, held his staff firmly and looked toward the river. His voice trembled with concern as he spoke. "Someone has done something to offend Ojua. This is not an ordinary storm. We must find the cause." By the next morning, as the waters retreated and the sun rose, all fingers pointed to Kondo, the proud hunter who had not been seen since the night before. Egodo, a village deep in the forest of Edo State, thrived because of the river Ojua. One bright morning, during the annual festival of Ojua, the village gathered to celebrate the river. The elders danced, women sang songs, and children ran around wearing palm leaf crowns. The most important moment of the festival was the announcement of the new keeper of the river, the person chosen to honor the river spirit and care for its sacred waters. Kondo was sure the role would be his. "Who else is as strong as me?" he whispered to his friend Os. "The elders will choose me. They must." Os frowned. "But the keeper is not chosen for strength. The role is for someone wise and humble." Kondo waved him off. "Nonsense. I deserve it more than anyone." But when the village elder, Omoreg, raised his staff and called out the name, it wasn't Kondo who stepped forward. "The new keeper of the river is Ades." Ades, a kind-hearted young woman who spent her days helping the elderly and tending the shrine by the river, walked forward with her head bowed. The crowd erupted in cheers, but Kondo's heart filled with anger. "This is wrong," he muttered to himself as others clapped and danced. "How can they choose her over me?" For days after the festival, Kondo stayed away from the village, his mind clouded by jealousy. He couldn't accept that Ades was chosen instead of him. One evening, he stood by the river, staring into its rippling waters. "If I capture Efunaya, the great python, they will see I am the greatest," he whispered to himself. "The river will bow to me." That night, Kondo walked quietly, crafting a large trap from Iroko wood, bound with thick vines. His heart raced with excitement as he imagined the villagers bowing to him when he dragged Efunaya to the village square. Before he left for the river, his mother called out to him from their hut. "Kondo, where are you going at this hour?" "To bring glory to this family, mother," he replied. "Don't let pride lead you astray, my son," she warned. Kondo didn't answer. Under the light of the moon, Kondo said, Kondo stood tall, puffing out his chest. "I seek to prove my worth. If I capture you, everyone will see that I am greater than the river itself." Efunaya's glowing eyes seemed to pierce through him. "You have no idea what you are doing. Release me now, and I will forgive you. But if you continue, the river will punish you." But Kondo only laughed. "You are my prize now. Tomorrow, the village will see my greatness." The python stared at him in silence before whispering, "You will regret this." As Kondo pulled the trap from the water, the earth began to tremble beneath him. The river roared to life, rising high and spilling over its banks. Trees cracked and fell, and water surged into the village, destroying everything in its path. In the midst of the chaos, Elder Omoreg and the villagers gathered at the shrine. "Someone has angered the river spirit. he cried. "It's Kondo," shouted a fisherman. "He went to the river last night." The villagers rushed to the riverbank, where they found Kondo struggling to pull the trap to shore. Inside the trap, Efunaya thrashed wildly. "Kondo!" Ades shouted over the roaring waters. "What have you done?" "I've captured the great python," Kondo yelled back. "Now the river will bow to me." "You fool," Elder Omareg said. "You've doomed us all. Release it now." But before Kondo could respond, Efunaya spoke. "I warned you, Kondo. Now you must face the river's judgment." In an instant, Efunaya broke free of the trap. The villagers watched in horror as the python coiled around Kondo. His body began to shrink and change, his arms becoming fins, his legs disappearing into a tail. Within moments, he was no longer a man but a tiny catfish, flopping helplessly on the muddy ground. The river calmed as Efunaya slipped back into its depths, taking the catfish with it. The storm ended, but the damage was done. The villagers returned to rebuild their homes, mourning the crops and animals they had lost. Elder Omareg spoke gravely to the crowd. "Let this be a warning to us all. Pride leads to ruin, but humility keeps the balance. May we always respect the river and its spirit." Ades took up her role as keeper of the river with humility and dedication. She tended the riverbanks and taught the children the importance of living in harmony with nature. As for Kondo, his name became a cautionary tale told for generations. Fishermen swore they sometimes saw a strange catfish in the river, swimming alone. Whenever they did, they would say, "That is Kondo, still learning the lesson of humility." True strength lies not in pride or domination, but in respect for the natural order and humility before greater forces.